Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 10 of What If Naruto Was an Emotionless Ghost. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune because I'm gonna be posting a new episode over on Anime King and Anime King 3 tonight guys. So stay in tune for those, and I really do hope that you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King 2 and Anime King 3, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And subscribe to all the channels, turn on that bell notifications they posted. And I do hope that you're all having a wonderful day, but if you're not, allow me to make it a little bit better and sit back, relax, and enjoy the stories. So yeah, without further ado, what is we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last spot we left off, Naruto and the Envoy team had made their way as they were scouting out the hidden stone. But something didn't happen as they went to go investigate. The captain told him that if he was spotted he should just flee. After all, they shouldn't be at the hidden stone. As Naruto saw chaos going on, flames and water doused in the flames, it was a Jinchuriki fighting. As there was a man there, blue skin, beady eyes, as he had a sword as he was riding on top of the water. As Naruto decided to flee, he was stopped by none other than Itachi. Itachi had went and killed Orochimaru after getting information, as Itachi saw Naruto, so he was the ghost that killed his little brother. Itachi seemed to be furious and calm at the same time as he spoke to Naruto, trapping him in this fuming, torturing Naruto in there, asking for answers. As he messed with Naruto's mind, but Naruto would not break. But Naruto was surprised and Itachi told him that he would not kill him, and that the leader of the Akatsuki is coming after him. As Naruto was confused by that though, Itachi didn't even try to take him. Itachi ended up leaving as Kisame had gathered Jinchuriki as they made their way towards the hidden rain. The Envoy group had scouted them out as the captain had saw the Akatsuki members, but they didn't went over the border of the hidden rain. Sometime later, all the Akatsuki members were gathered as Pain had called all of them, as he summoned the statue to begin the sealing. As Pain was talking to Zetsu, they still have no idea the location of Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, and Itachi told them he had no idea either, as none of them knew where the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki was. He seemed to just fall off the map. As Zetsu told Pain that he will find him, he must be in Konoha somewhere. Pain also sent Deidara and Sorcery to get information about the Nine-Tails at Konoha, as Pain told them that he can use whatever force they need to, if it requires it. And if they were to fail, Itachi and Kisame will capture it, as Kakazo and Hidan were making their way towards Kumo. As Naruto got back to the village, Tsunade was talking to him personally. Naruto had activated a seal to seal away a memory, something tragic that he went through. Tsunade told that he will have to face it, but she realized that he was twitching the more she talked, as he ended up running away, fleeing the office. She quickly called Shizune to get Kakashi and Anko to find him. Later that day, Hinata had stumbled upon the training ground, where she saw him, as Naruto was brutally hacking away at a log. He attacked her, as he was not seen to be in the right state of mind, but she was able to knock him down as she stopped him. As he was able to focus and saw her, she asked him what was wrong. Hinata was still mourning the death of the boy that Naruto still doesn't know his name. The only thing he knew was that he called him Baka. After a while of talking to Hinata, she left, as Anko came there to check upon him to make sure that he was okay, as he seemed stable for the moment. Tsunade was happy when she got the news that Naruto was okay now, as she might have took things a bit too far. It seems like he was still unable to comprehend when it comes to that seal. Whatever memory he sealed away, whatever pain he has locked away was tremendous. We then had another time skip as Konoha was under attack. Making his way there, Naruto saw that it was a Akatsuki member. As he was standing on top of his bird, it was none other than Deidara. Naruto tried to insult the man for the man to attack him, to lure him into a trap, but Naruto's insults were not going over well. So Naruto decided to focus on something the man seemed to love, his art. As that got Deidara pissed when Naruto started to insult his art as he focused attention towards him. So yeah guys, so it's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what is the beginning of this new episode? The battle was raging on, a taijutsu fight between Naruto and Deidara. Deidara caught Naruto in a series of taijutsu moves as he pinged him and grabbed him. Talk, he said. No, said Naruto. Deidara snapped Naruto's neck, only for him to poof away. A clone? The real Naruto hit Deidara with a genjutsu, as Deidara heard voices all around him. Yes, was that all you have? Are your arts really that weak? Deidara quickly expelled the illusion as he tossed bombs all around. Naruto had to dive away from where he was as the undergrowth of Konoha was exploded. Alright, it's time for you to die. Say to dragon. That was good. Naruto could deal with that. The man couldn't see him, but he could see the dragon. Plus, he could get some backup if they saw it. As he idly wondered where everyone else was, he kept moving and started dodging the area the dragon was vomiting bombs onto. As Deidara was above, scanning the entire forest for him. Without visual genjutsu, Naruto had to rely on camouflage as he hid in the forest. He was leading the man around the walls and further out towards his ideal battleground. The force of death had taller trees and bigger risks for the man to take. All he needed to do was to get the man to a fight on his terms. How to do that? Would he retreat once he was low on clay? Could he really risk that happening? Naruto kept on switching and substituting with objects as explosions roared around him. The edge of the forest was getting closer, the trees a darker shade of wood and more tall. He really wondered how high the dragon could fly. As he reached the taller trees, he started to climb. Too many dangers below. If he were to throw an explosive down here, rocks, splinters could fire in all directions, hurting him. As he fired another bolt from his crossbow, as the man was able to twist this dragon around. As Naruto watched him, he hit him with another genjutsu. Your art is really inferior. A yell of frustration could be heard coming from Deidara that was hit. His opponent loved to favor his art, hate when people insulted. Deidara started to descend lower towards the ground, looking around unsurely towards Naruto's location. You think my art is inferior? Meet my greatest art then! C4! Naruto watched the man create a copy of himself that got large, and grow and grow and grow in size. The amount of chakra and clay required for such a clone was hollowed. So why would he? Then it burst into dust. There was no explosion. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw the true danger. The air around it started to fill with chakra and started to move. It started to spread quickly. Naruto created a clone to distract the man and bolted through the trees. The man had seen the clone and was going to block it off. He wanted to push Naruto into the glow. As Naruto wondered how much chakra did this technique take, how much would he have afterwards? The glow was spreading fast and he could run. He needed to find somewhere he could dive into. A small cave he saw as he dived into it. He landed and rolled as the clone was trying to get away. There was a billion tiny explosives from chakra that ripped everything apart, while animals, birds, everything that was around the area was disintegrating. After that, physics took over and the hot air and particles went upwards. There was howling wind as the pressure came back. Naruto held on as air rushed out from the cave behind him. The air started to calm down a bit as things started to settle down. The man landed his dragon in the center of the clearing that he created. The fine dirt had become a dusty grey sand, and there was no more cover. The man patted his dragon on the head as he laughed. I know you're still out there. Your clone disappeared before disintegrating. The man was looking at the cave. As Naruto realized he was cornered, running into the cave would be a bad idea, completely because an explosion could trap him. He cursed his lack of actions when cornered. His summons were not combat specialists. Even the strongest wouldn't pose the man any threat. And his weapons can probably hold the man at bay, but he'd need a cover. He looked at his crossbow and saw the chakra conducting wire. He was never taught how to channel chakra through it. Could he work out that in? He checked the man's position. 2 minutes? Unlikely. So he couldn't really run here. He couldn't really fight and he was cornered. The only advantage he had was a Kyuubi, and he didn't want to do that, not yet. That was a last resort method. He needed time. More time will give him more options. How could he gain more time? He could talk. But why would the man keep him alive? He realized the option was to give the man some information as he was pacing closer toward the cave. Come out, little leaf. Come out and talk to me. I might just let you live. Naruto slung the bow onto his back and walked out into the open. His opponent looked a bit surprised. Okay, what do you need to know? He asked. The man looked at him, cocking his head. This doesn't normally happen. Normally, I blow you up after you say over your dead body. You will not give me any information or something like that. Would you prefer that? Naruto asked. The man laughed. Oh, a comedian. Since you want to talk then, where's the Kyuubi? Naruto considered his options. To this man, he was just another leaf ninja. Yes, he had genjutsu and shadow clones, but how special was that? The shadow clone was a high-ranked jutsu. He was likely a jonin to the man. It was killed by the fourth Hokage and has yet to reform, like everyone from Konoha knows. The man laughed once again. You don't really believe that, do you? You think he could kill such a beast? He was able to defeat the Hidden Stone nearly, single-handedly. Although Naruto knew that Danzo played a part of that in the background. His father had been good, but the root operatives had been working quietly in the background. It was amazing what a little rumor spreading, and the removal of several heads could do. The man looked angry. The Hidden Stone was a shit scum. That is why I left. So Hidden Stone missing in then, presumably. That is where he obtained the jutsu. As Naruto saw the scratch headband and it was confirmed, how did he miss that? Naruto knew that he had to play slightly dumb. He had to lie. He didn't defeat the Kyuubi, he acted surprised. The man shook his head. Stop playing dumb. I know that you know that he sealed it into a child. That child's an outcast, said Naruto. The man smiled. See, you do know the child in question. They would be about 15 or 16. About your size, short ass. I think you know him. He's an outcast, said Naruto. Why would I know him if he is? But you know of him. Where is he? As Naruto tried his best to think of convincing ideas, someone was coming. He started to walk around in a circle as the man laughed. Stay still or I blow you into pieces. Can your one eye not see this bomb? He stopped. The threat was real. He's here. I didn't know that you were after him. The man shrugged. I am not, but my organization is. Something about gathering the tail beasts. Oh? The man's eyes narrowed. You don't seem surprised. You know more than I thought. It happened so fast, but Deidara was ready as he created a clay clone and moved back. The clay clone was instantly burst all over by the bolts. It exploded as all the bolts that entered the fire fly away. One of them passed by his head with tremendous speed, far too close. As Naruto shot forward as he pulled his thumb to unswing, the man brought out his hand as the mouth of his hand caught the blade. Naruto pulled a kuna and drive it forward, but the man jumped away. As the man kicked Naruto in the ribs, as Naruto rolled away, the figure was coming faster. He had to keep this man's attention. As he got up and reached for his blow gun, the man simply batted away as another kick right under his chin sent Naruto sailing back. He coughed a bit of blood and stumbled away from the man. Just a little bit of time. He need to buy more time. The man walked slowly towards him. You're really boring and not even worthy of my art. Thanks for nothing. The figure appeared behind the man. Thanks for talking, you flashy idiot. What? Said Deidara. He turned just in time as Anko's fist smashed into his nose, breaking it. As he was sent sailing away. Happy to see me, Darky-kun, said Naruto. Never happier, Anko-chan. He's extremely dangerous. Anko wastes no time. She slammed her hands into the ground. Shadow, snake hands. Hundreds of snakes rushed towards the man, who quickly created a clay clone and leaped away. Clone exploded as the snakes were blown away. Anko shot forward as both of them exchanged blows mid-air before they dropped to the ground. The man was stronger, but not by much. Anko was more vicious anyway, as he threw her off, panting as he rose. A cut on his face as blood was leaking down, not to mention his nose was broken as well. She had punched the lens he wore over his eye back into his face, and there was blood leaking from there as well. As he tore the device away, you bitch! That took me years to perfect. Anko grinned. Oh, you don't even know the half of it. Summoning jutsu. Anko summoned a massive brown and white snake. As it wasted no time and launched towards the man. He started to run as the snake chased after him. The serpent was fast, but the man was more nimble as he released small spiders that exploded against the snake's tail. Some of them breaking through it as the snake seemed to get more angry as it hissed dangerously. Naruto tracked the man with his crossbow as he hungered for a good shot. The last one he fired had missed. This one would hit. This one would go through him. He could feel it. The man was moving too fast, though he needed to get closer. Anko was falling as well, but even the three of them, Anko, Naruto and Snake, they couldn't force the man to go where they wanted. The trees were too thick and he was going around them quickly. Anko fell back in the line as they left from tree to tree. Any ideas, she shouted, as Naruto was near to her. More backup, said Naruto. Any plausible ideas? No, he said, as they kept on following the man, jumping from tree branch to tree branch. The fact that he had made a dragon yet, or a creature to fly away on, that meant he was low on clay. That was good. Naruto stopped as he summoned Fetch, the rat. He moving boy. We'll talk on the way. He did so as the rat clinged to his shoulder. How would you trap someone that doesn't want to be trapped? The rat scratched his chin, thinking about that. You either force them to fight, or you let them go and let them trap themselves. But be wary, you know what happens when you trap someone. They fight harder, said Naruto. The rat nodded. Be careful, I sense there's more to come from him. I will assist you in trapping him. The rat jumped from Naruto's shoulder and leapt into the trees. Naruto realized he didn't know the full capability of one of his closest allies, as he cursed himself for that. He kept his aim on Deidara as the man kept on going, as Naruto felt glad that his stamina was no higher than his opponent. As Naruto realized the plan, Anko, forcing downwards, got it as Snake and Anko went high. He left himself open, as Anko descended with the snake on him, forcing him to go down to the ground. As Naruto started to watch the man fall, he jumped from tree to tree until he hit the ground. He then stopped. Something stopped him. There was a carpet of rats running on the forest floor. It was more rats than Naruto has ever seen before. The rats leap. He started to swing and throw them off, but he couldn't escape. Explosions started to litter the area. Small fur rats were blown apart. But the rats were relentless as they claw and scratch and bite at him. Anko came in and smashed her foot into his face. He was sent sailing as he crashed, as the rats quickly rushed over. But something was off. The man started to laugh. Despite the weight of rat on him, he started to laugh. Fetch landed under the shoulder. Fire now, boy, don't stare. The man raised his hand for hand signs as Naruto released the bow. It flew, snap. It burst through his neck. The man gargled as his hands started to go limp. The rats started to scatter as a snake was trying to eat them as Anko dismissed her ally. She surveyed the body, not bad. Perfectly clean shot. But Naruto saw the body start to contract with chakra with his byakugan. Anko, move! She tried to move but the explosion pushed her back. As Naruto ran to caught her, but he was knocked over by the weight. He felt the fatigue of the battle creeping upon him as he tried to get up, fooled by a damn clone. His byakugan searched as he found the real one. Underground, he was moving away underground. Anko rose slowly. The smell of burned hair and flesh was coming from her. The rat surveyed her body. She's in no state to continue. You must hunt him, Naruto. Go, I'll stay with her. As Naruto turned, wait, others are approaching. 3 and a dog. Do you know them? As Naruto could sense them 3 familiar signatures moving towards him at speed. He nodded as he moved off. He heard his name called by Kiba. As he saw Kiba and Shino enter his vision. Naruto, what the hell is going on now? Tracking someone underground, he's weakened and we can take him. He couldn't see her because his vision was pointing outwards, full stretch, but he heard her voice. I can see him now, Naruto-kun. You can relax if you need to. You look tired. He let his byakugan deactivated as he felt his head feeling lighter and the headache, well, slowly going away. Hinata took up the lead, her teammates behind her. As Naruto saw the way Kiba was running, it looked like he was struggling with his leg a little differently than before. Despite being underground, the man was making good progress, but he could not keep up forever. The man was low on chakra, he would surface soon enough. Hopefully, he couldn't sense them following him. As Naruto checked his bow, Shino looked behind him as he saw Naruto's intentions. Naruto-san, it would be illogical to kill him immediately. If we can capture him, he holds a lot of valuable information. We need to extract that. I can drain him dry in short order, and Hinata can disable him. He nodded. He is still dangerous. If it comes to it, I will not hesitate to kill him. Let us hope it doesn't come to that, said Shino. As they kept on following. As Naruto glanced at the team, Hinata was moving a bit faster than before. Shino was the same, but someone was missing. Where's Kunai-sensei? As Kiba turned towards him, as he has grown a bit older since the last time he saw him, as the marks are a bit more pronounced on his face. She's on a mission elsewhere, but we're good enough to look after herself. Right, boy? Said Kiba. The dog barked as Naruto blinked. Was that the same baby dog? The dog was also walking and hopping strange. Was it sympathy for Kiba? As Naruto had to ask, Kiba-san, what happened to your leg? Shino looked at him, but Naruto couldn't really see his expression given his hood and his shades. As Kiba sighed, it was that mission, Naruto, where everything changed. None of us made it out the same. Hinata nodded from the front as he tried to focus on the task at hand. The figure was still moving on the ground, he was slowing though. Choji made Toki, but he came close to dying after using a clan technique. Neji took a pounding. He actually came out of it better though. I think the fact that you beat him as well helped with that. As Naruto remembered, he had beaten Neji, but the boy was still angry about it. Lee got nearly destroyed. Both arms and legs broken, and he would have died if the guy that beat him up didn't win to go and protect Sasuke. Seriously, he was out for a year. Shino nodded. Kiba fought his opponent for a long time until they got the advantage. The fact is, he only lived because he wanted to kill him and Akamaru slowly. They tried to do it by eating his body away from the inside. His leg was. It will never be the same, said Kiba, cutting him off. I accept this, Shino. I had it light compared to Lee and Shikamaru. They all looked down, even Hinata looked away. As Naruto wondered who they were talking about. Who was Shikamaru, he asked. Kiba gave a small laugh. You never met him, did you? No, said Naruto. Well, he came an inch away from death. His opponent was probably worse for him, and she had him beaten. He got out-muscled and he couldn't quite outthink her in time. He had to use tactics that he should have never had to use. As Naruto considered the thought of that, that was the same thing that would have happened to him if he was, well, out-tactic. Shikamaru saw like a thinker, like himself. He detonated an explosive tag at a point-blank distance. He got just far away that it didn't kill him. But the damage. Kiba trailed off. It made me look like I just got a scratch. As Naruto wondered, he asked, what were dangers? Kiba looked at Shino with a pleading expression for him to take over. Shino nodded. He lost an arm. He was lucky the blast cauterized the wound enough. He was in a coma for 6 months. He had to retire. He didn't even call it troublesome. He spends a lot of time alone these days. None of the people that ever went on the mission was the same again. Choji and Ino were. Shino trailed off as well as the silence went tense. They were distraught. We all were. We nearly lost all of our friends. And we lost one of them who was possibly the best of all of us. We all miss him, said Hinata. Kiba and Shino looked at her. Normally, Hinata would be in tears by now, talking about that. But she seemed different. Her words were strong, and she was keeping herself calm. We need to focus, she said. He's rising. She stopped and held up a hand. Shino, do you have a plan? Shino nodded. It will be logical to capture our opponent instead of just outright killing him. We will surround him, and I should be able to drain him with my bugs. Then Hinata and Kiba can subdue him. Naruto will hold back until he's needed. I will initiate any action. Naruto and Hinata can follow by using their eyes. Naruto nodded as Shino and Hinata departed, leaving Kiba by his side. As Kiba sniffed the air, I can smell him. He's close to breaking the surface, about 50 meters in that direction. Naruto, can you get visual? He asked. Naruto nodded as he felt the headache intense a bit as his vision adjusted. Hinata and Shino were in position and Shino started to move inwards. The man had just broken out of the earth. He was clearly exhausted. Naruto shut off his eye as two of them landed on the man. Oh, you guys just don't give up. Goddamn, how you guys well? Well, this should be fun. Shino was the first one to speak. Surrender and you will not be hurt. Deidara cocked his head and laughed. You really think I'll surrender? He said. He leaped towards Shino. Kiba came spinning in. But Deidara wasn't at S-class for nothing as he kicked Kiba away. As Hinata leaped away from the punch and the bugs swarmed towards him. He flashed around but the bugs were swarmed in, sapping more and more of his chakra. As Naruto kept his crossbow aimed, Shino withdrew his insects from the man who was surprisingly still conscious. He started to laugh as the insects surrounded Shino once again. I always want to do this to one of you bug freaks. Naruto realized the danger just in the nick of time. Shino, scatter your insects! The tone and urgency got to Shino just in time as he scattered the swarm. Guts! Every bug was filled with explosive as they went off. Shino cried out an anguished cry as some bugs that were too close caused him pain. Hinata and Kiba were knocked to the ground by the explosion. Deidara was laughing on one knee as he did not have the energy to continue. As Naruto found himself resisting the temptation to shoot and kill, Hinata got up as she approached the man cautiously as he started to laugh. I would rather die. He slammed his hands together as Naruto saw the chakra building up. He fired and it was over. The bolt burst through Deidara's skull, bursting right between the eyes as his body dropped to the ground. Hinata rushed over. Shino, are you alright? Shino struggled to rise as he groaned. I'm alright. My hive is nearly destroyed, he said. Naruto came over and gave him a hand as he helped him up. As Naruto looked over, he didn't even know the man's name. Many people he killed, he didn't even know their name. He knew Sasuke, but many others. Hinata applied some paste to Shino's wounds. Parts of his jacket had burned away and more of his face was visible. Naruto dropped his own hood out of empathy. It seemed right to do so when his comrade could not cover his own. We should return to Konoha with the body and report to Hokage-sama. Naruto nodded and picked up the body. As he, staggered under the weight, it was a lot bigger than his own. Kiba chuckled. Don't worry, Naruto. Akamaru can carry him easy. Don't strain yourself, shorty. Hinata started to giggle a bit. My size is to my advantage most of the time, he said. Kiba gave him an odd grin, but Naruto's reaction was not there. As he placed the body on Akamaru's back and they went back, they found they were to Anko who was sitting up and rubbing her side. As she saw the body, did you have to kill him? Naruto nodded. If he had lived, I would have tortured the crap out of him. Don't you want information? I suppose I want information as well, but I would do it just to get the fun out of torturing him. Naruto shrugged, as the rat gave him a nod and poofed away. Kiba was confused. Was that a rat summon? As Naruto nodded, wouldn't they be kind of useless? Are there giant battle rats? Because if they're not, what else can they do? Intelligent gathering, swarm tactics, distraction, message carrying. Fitz Shama is also wise, countline skill. Kiba shrugged. I'd rather have Akamaru and my clan dogs. Right, boy? As Akamaru barked, we need to return to Konoha, said Shino. Although we have taken out one of the assailants, there was another in Konoha itself. Tsunade-sama was preparing to deal with it. That caught Naruto's attention. Surely, such an opponent would be a he or she. Hinata spoke. It was more of a machine, like a scorpion. It looked odd, and our team was unable to help in fighting it. Then we noticed the fight here and came to help. Did no one else other than you and Anko notice? Anko laughed. Probably, but they were probably preoccupied in helping civilians, or fighting the scorpion flamethrower, or being cowards. The group started to move back towards Konoha, as Anko turned to Hinata. Good thing you did, or Donkey-kun might not have made it. Is there any reason in particular why you came to his rescue? As Naruto heard Anko tone shift, when she usually talk about sexual activities. Luckily Shino stepped in. Anko-san, please desist on teasing Hinata-chan about relationships. She is too reserved for such jokes to carry anything but negative feelings. Anko poked at him. Spoiled sport, she said. Time skip. Tsunade was sitting down in the rubble on a rather large stone, checking over her nails. Shizune was right beside her. Would you look at that, Shizune? What is wrong, Tsunade-sama? The bastard chipped one of my nails. Look. Shizune blinked. Tsunade-sama, you just defeated an S-rank missing from the sand. You're covered in blood and you're worrying about your nails? Tsunade stared at her student before they burst out laughing. It wasn't just me that defeated them, the Undo helped as well as Shikaku Nara. You had to be an idiot to attack Konoha when it's full of elite shinobis. What were the losses? Shizune checked the report that the commander had given her. Half a dozen Undo, 17 Chunin, 5 Genin, and 50 civilian. The majority of the casualties was caused by the bomber who was led away. A further 100 people were injured, 4 of them critically. Fortunately, the hospital is coping with the injuries. Tsunade sighed. The victory didn't seem so great now that she heard the casualty list. Return to the hospital and help out there. I have to find out what happened to the bomber. Naruto and Anko and Team 8 then came to view. Or it could find me. Anko, what the hell happened? That's the bomber, said Anko. Donkey-kun, lead him into my forest and killed him. How did you manage to do that? I recall that he was flying on some dragon in the air. I got his attention by shooting at him, and then I drew him away from the city. He followed an Anko tent, preventing him from killing me. After that, he attempted to escape, and Team 8 assisted me in attempting to capture him. I take it that failed, said Tsunade. Indeed, said Naruto. Too much to do now for a debrief. I need to be at the hospital. Team 8, take the body to TNI. Your verse of day off. Naruto, you are to perform no more active duty without my express given permission. If you do that, I'll place you in a hospital bed and have them restrain you. She had already told him not to push himself, so this was the last warning. With that, she made her way. Shino gave Naruto a brief nod before he led his team off with the body. That left only Naruto and Anko. Naruto rubbed his shoulder. It hurt more than usual. As he hid the pain, Anko saw him. Anything wrong with your arm, Donkey-kun, she asked. No, he said. She smiled. I heard 1,000 guys say that. Let me see it. He couldn't escape. As she moved back the cloak, she poked it as he winced a bit. That looks swollen, in fact, she said. Did that guy break your shoulder? And you just carried on like nothing happened? He wondered if that was reality. Yes, he had taken a hard shot there, and it did hurt a bit. It seemed possible, he said. Anko sighed. I'm taking you to the hospital. Besides, you and I need to have a chat. If I try to escape near the axe, I'll break your other shoulder, she said. Well, she had her ways. Having two broken shoulders would be bad. Having a healed shoulder would be, well, needed. As Anko then poked him right in the face. It seems they're growing some fluffy, blonde face hair. Aw, it's cute, she said. As Naruto realized he would have to shave. Anyway, now let's talk. How did you poison Uchiha in his base? He felt they were fortunate that no one had heard that. After all, the Uchiha was popular for his clan status. At 10, part poison, had to get him to absorb a catalyst that was absorbed into the wall of his intestines. It took 3 parts. Then I tested with a small amount of uncooked meat. Then I just feed him the right amount of food. I had infiltrated the kitchen when I could. She nodded. Will that outdo anything I've ever done? Nice job, she said. Then again, 10 parts. It must be hard to get around the medical staff in there. How was it? As Naruto's hand subconsciously moved towards his side, as Anko noticed. Your side too? That guy really did a number on you, didn't he? Naruto nodded. It was true. He could feel bruises all over his body. And the fact that he coughed blood. He'd probably have some internal bleeding as well. But was it hard? Lonely? It must have been tense in there. I completed my mission. I done what needed to be done, he said. Anko patted him on his good shoulder as he approached the hospital. Talk to me if you need, okay? Now I need to find a dango shop. Victory meal, she said, as she rushed off into Konoha. Naruto looked up at the building as he sighed. He had to do it. As he pushed open the doors. A few minutes later, he was in a treatment room. Apparently, shinobis went to different eras than civilians. He pondered why as he waited for his doctor to arrive. Well, certainly, shinobi injuries were more dangerous and horrified than civilian ones. No one got stabbed by katanas or hit by large-scale jutsu when they were just civilians. They all had to deal with broken bones and the occasional criminal injury. His thoughts were interrupted by his doctor entering the room. It was Shizune. She smiled when she saw him. Ah, Naruto. Tsunade-sama said you got into a bit of fuddle. 5-9 extra missing in. Anyone else I would call an idiot. Actually, I would too. Now, are you aware of any other injuries? She asked. Take off your shirt, she said. He did so, and he saw it was covered in small tears. Her hands started to glow as she started scanning his body. Broken shoulder, bruises, internal bleeding that might have stopped, he said. Shizune stopped her scan. Are you immune to pain? Do you actually feel pain? She asked. Yes. It is unpleasant, but focus not in battle is unnecessary, he said. Okay, I can rule out that disorder then, she said. Yes, you can ignore pain, but there's a limit. Do you know the extent of your injuries right now? No, you do not, she said before he could say anything. Let me list it for you. Multiple cuts along your back. Look like tree bark rub. That was a possibility. You remember hitting a tree at some point. Broken shoulder and fracture fibula on your left arm. Which means you probably didn't notice while using your crossbow. That was true. Your chest is more black and blue than pale skin. Hey look, it was obvious. The man that he was fighting was efficient at taijutsu and is quite strong. Be thankful he wasn't aiming for your face while he was attacking you. He probably wanted you to talk afterwards, said Shizune. You have a punctured lung. That was unexpected. Fortunately, it's a small puncture. It will be tricky to extract. We will need to operate. It will also help us mend you more. But the fractured bone explained chest pain. Now, take off your pants and don't be shy, said Shizune. I need to scan your legs. And I want full resolution from this, so your pants have to come off. He took them off, as he wasn't too bothered by this at all. This was a medical situation, and she was a medic. She scanned his legs and thighs. Nothing here but a few scratches and... Why am I not surprised? More bruising, she said. You can put the pants back on, and your shirt as well. She turned away as he did, as she scanned his head. That's odd. What is? You have a brain. I was just expecting you to be utterly stupid enough to not have one. He felt insulted that she would make such a rookie mistake. Why would she think that he wouldn't have a brain? If I didn't have a... Shut up, said Shizune. You shouldn't be fighting in any condition. You realize what would have happened with that bone fragment in your lung. A slightly harder hit, and you would have bleed out and died. Even just by running. Too hard. It could have moved and went into your brain and killed you. You reckless idiot, what were you thinking? She sighed as she brought it a syringe. You need an antibody shot to make sure nothing was... infected. Precautions and nothing more. Then we can work on your physical injuries, then the mental ones. He extended his arm as she gave him the injection. She then pressed a button on the wall. Could I get a set of restraints for room 207? Restraints? Said Naruto. She gave him a small smile. For you. ensuring that you stay bed rest. Naruto tried to get up, but he felt heavy. "Did you inject me with a sedative?" "Yes," she said. There was a knock at the door. She smiled, his vision started to blur a bit. "Lie down and sleep, okay?" As the restraints came, as Naruto saw Sakura at the door before he passed out. Time skip. Itachi moved quietly through the Akatsuki base. Not that there was a need to, but he liked to keep himself to himself. He was deep in thought. Sasori and Deidara were dead. Of that he had no doubt. Pain had sent the wrong people within Konoha. Deidara wasn't a thinker, and he wasn't really good at small-scale assaults. He was all large-scale every time. Sending him the information was a foolish act, a foolish move. Then again, Akatsuki was too skewed away from gathering information. Only Zetsu truly excelled at it. But the problem was Zetsu could not capture an enemy. Sasori would have been useful, but his poison could just go so much when they have the best medic in the world like Konoha. What would his next move be? Certainly, he has to play his hand carefully. Pain could not succeed, Akatsuki could not succeed, but Naruto had to pay with his life. He could not get the vengeance for all he had lost until Akatsuki was stopped. He had to make sure. He felt the pain in his chest as he stopped to breathe. His illness. How long did he really had? How much of a fight did he really have left within him? He was hoping that he could go all out with Sasuke, but now, there was no point to reflecting on that. Certainly, Naruto alone could not defeat the Akatsuki. He was too subtle to defeat a S-rank shinobi on his own. No, Naruto would think his way around a problem, but with the Akatsuki he could not. Not to mention with the Akatsuki traveling in pairs, he will have no chance at all. As this was a loss to the Akatsuki, because there was not a lot of S-rank criminals out there. Well, as he thought back to that night, he was sure that he was the one that summoned the Nine-Tailed Fox. He was behind that attack, the masked man that helped him with the Uchiha clan. Well, that had been terrifying even for him. That man was able to control that beast. He was out there somewhere, and he was dangerous. It was when that he would show up. That was the question that was on Itachi's mind. He heard footsteps as he sensed a leader coming. It was a leader. "Itachi, Zetsu has returned from Konoha territory." Itachi did not turn. "I take it, the news is not good." Deidara is dead, shot by a crossbow user. Sasori was crushed by the Hokage. Itachi nodded. Deidara did not explode the city. It appeared he was distracted and enraged by the bow user, and lured into the forest. Itachi smiled and told him a lot about Naruto. He was committed to his work and he would gladly die for his cause. That was certainly useful. Not only that, he was the one that finished Deidara. "We saw the battle," said Zetsu as they rose from the floor next to the leader. "The crossbow user is very interesting. He's very skilled but not really strong. He's somewhat like you, Itachi-kun, but we sense another chakra signature near him. So weak, so small, but possibly that of a tailed beast." Itachi cursed Naruto for his foolishness in his mind. While he could not sense Zetsu in the heat of a battle, why did he attack? He knew that they were looking for him. Curse his nature onto Konoha. Yes, his dutiful nature to protect Konoha at all costs. Surely that is wrong for Jinchuriki. Would they not be a force fighter with a lot of chakra reserves? "It is odd. We're unsure," said Zetsu. "He needs further observation," leader said. "Finish the sentence for him." "Zetsu will be around Konoha. If he leaves on a mission, then we'll find out more about him. Until then, we focus on the remaining Jinchuriki. The Two-Tail has been captured and is on his way in. Now, prepare for the ceiling. Our newest member has arrived also." Itachi nodded, as he never expected any other outcome. The zombie brothers were odd, but they were efficient. They had yet to fail a single mission. That their target was captured now was expected, as Itachi knew he had to act sooner rather than later. Somehow, he will bring down more members of this organization. He will have to find a way to get the Immortal Ones killed though. He grimaced as he realized what he will have to do. He will have to make the Akatsuki fight itself. Time skip. Naruto slowly opened one eye from his bed. The mattress at the hospital wasn't comfy as one at home, but it was better than most. His heart monitor was beeping. He sighed at the restraints. He could break them, but it would be a lengthy process. A few minutes later, Shizune came in the room and saw that he was awake. She smiled. "Good morning, Naruto. How are you doing today? Or rather, 2 days since we put you under. The sedative is only meant to last a few hours, but you just kept on sleeping. To be honest, I'm not surprised." "I'm a little restrained, Shizune-san." Shizune laughed a bit. "Very good. Talent would have been proud of that one. Now, Tsunade-sama will be along to give you mission orders in a few minutes. Can I trust you not to run away until that has happened?" Naruto nodded. She undid the restraints as he stretched his free limbs, as he pulled off the heart monitor to shut the heart monitor off. While not necessary, she said, I would have rather you did not change that. It tends to freak people out when someone suddenly flat line. Stay here, okay, until Tsunade-sama arrive. He simply nodded. Naruto got the sense that someone was there. There were other people. He activated his Byakugan. There was an envoy there that he did not recognize. That was interesting. Why would he need protection? His memory sorted through. As you remember, Sakura. She looked shocked when she saw him. Well, she did not know that he was here, that he had returned. How much did she know? Would she really attempt to kill him? Then again, who knew about him that wanted to kill him? He considered everyone in Konoha. Sakura, Neji. Considered the boy held a grudge. And, well, wanted to kill him. Kurenai, well, they left on good terms. Hinata? While she could fight, she could have killed him when she found him. Instead, she brought him back to Konoha. He dismissed that for now, as he considered his priorities. He wanted to find out what Baka's name was, although no one wanted to tell him. It struck him hard that that small amount of information was being withheld. Perhaps the mission records held the name. He then remembered his fight with the man. He needed to learn some new techniques to fight with. As he looked towards the bow, as he looked towards the small wire, he knew what training he needed. As he wondered what nature he was, the best for him would be a wind nature. But it would have disadvantage against other natures. He needs something with more power, something more mainstream. A way to make a crossbow shot unblockable or untraceable. A way to work with his style. More stealth as well. Sometimes a crossbow gave him away. As he looked to see the sun rising, it was hard to just look at the sun like that. He spent 3 years in nothing but darkness, making sure no one knew that he was even there. But now he was in the open, watching the sun. As he glanced towards the sun, as he glanced towards the cloud, everything outside. Before he heard footsteps, he moved to reach for his weapon but realized he didn't need it. It was a hospital. No one was trying to kill him. Well, unless someone already tried and the hospital had put on there to protect him. Tsunade entered with a smile. The lights were on and he could not hide. Naruto, Hokage-sama, he said. She pulled up a chair. My ban on missions performing still stand. You're badly injured enough that you should not fight. Any additional healing effects from your condition aside, she said. He assumed that she meant the 9 kills. His seal kept the beast at bay, but he still had enough worth of chakra for the fast healing. Aside from letting her injuries heal, I'm assigned new therapy, as I said before. This will be performed by Hinata. That was a surprise. Tsunade saw a look on his face. You expected someone else? He honestly had. Yes, Shizune sent my report first. She's also experienced in such matters. As such, she is better qualified to perform the task. You are also more qualified. Such are the doctors and the other medical staff. Tsunade smiled. But who do you trust more? He considered this. Shizune was by far the, more experienced of the two, and more qualified. But he realized Hinata was one of the few people he could call a friend at this stage. More so than he could call Shizune a friend. Then he remembered that conversation with her, when he told her about his first real moment of panic, like it was so natural. Tsunade-sama watched him think. It took some time getting his head to find out who he called a friend and see what was best for him. Hinata, he said. Good. Sessions are every Monday and Thursday afternoon. If you do not attend, I will extend the mission ban. You will attend until the seal break. As Naruto started to sweat, as his hand reached towards his side, she placed her hand on his shoulder. I know, I am afraid what it was as well. If it scares someone like you, it's gonna scare everyone as well. But you have to do this. It's an order. And you know that is logical. He nodded, as a single tear ran from his normal eye. I know, Hokage-sama, he said. I'm beginning to theorize that logic does not govern all decisions, but it is necessary in all situations. She smiled. It was true. If you ever discover love, it will be funny to watch. Good. I look forward to you conquering this. Then we can work on problem number 2, she said. Akatsuki, I assume you know what they're doing now. They look for tail beasts. That much I know, he said. He did know why, as someone wanted to use them for a devastating jutsu. As he remembered Itachi's words, they were burned into his memory. Tsunade nodded. That's only half of it. They want to capture all the tail beasts and use them for a powerful jutsu. Jiraiya is all spying on them. When he returns, he wants to scan you as well. It made sense. But she did things differently. Danzo would have used brainwashing on his former operatives. May I ask a question, Hokage-sama? He asked. She nodded. Of course, Naruto. You may call me Tsunade if you feel more comfortable. Hearing the Sama just made me feel old. Of course, Tsunade. Why do you care, Naruto asked. She looked a bit more shocked than he thought. before her face softened into a smile. Normally, that's quite an insulting question, Naruto. But I take it my way in dealing with you is different from what you've experienced before. It was true. En route, when I suffer a difficult challenge, it became harder so I can achieve it. When I told Anko some of my issues on the mission, he paused. She just waited for him to continue. When I told him of my issues, he did not react at all. He just put me to isolation for a couple of days. It made sense to do so. I was not at 100%, and I needed time to comprehend everything before continuing. I did so, and I did not suffer any more difficulties until the invasion. Tsunade understood, as Danzo never wanted emotions to form within Naruto. He wanted him to have the emotions squashed and hide it. You took time out of your case to review me especially, and it doesn't make sense. You have greater priorities to attend to the entire village, yet you care more. You bar me from missions, but not to punish me, but to make me heal. It is a new viewpoint I do not comprehend. He was used to relying on himself so much that when other people helped him, it didn't make sense. Tsunade knew that he was damaged and nearly broken, but somehow still functioning. He had been alone for years, so he didn't understand basic concepts that childhood understood. But underneath it all, he was a good person. There was hope. Well, she said, it's my duty to care. Aside from being the Hokage, I am, first of all, a nin. My duty is to keep everyone alive. Physical well-being is the main part, but mental is more important. If someone freezes on a mission or suffer an anxiety attack, they will likely die. Your seal will break if you overstress. And if that happened, you could die easily. I want to prevent that from happening. He nodded as he could understand that logical part. That, and you're special, Naruto. You're a Jinjulke. Even if you're a hider rather than a fighter, you're different and like a child in many ways. You're a good person. Do not forget this. He nodded. Any more questions, she asked. 2, actually, he said. First, can you recommend someone to train me on challenge chakra? In my fight with the Akatsuki, I found myself without a real power option. I was forced to stall him out until hope arrived. Tsunade rolled her eyes. He nearly killed you. You didn't do a good job, she said. Exactly. I wish to find someone able to train me in chakra channeling. My crossbow is compatible with such an exercise. Tsunade nodded. I think I can find someone to train you in such an exercise. Give me a day to find someone suitable. The second question? Why is your envoy outside? Tsunade sighed. Well, she said. But guys, to be in this right here. If you want to see this part, be certain to do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But for now, remember to stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. Peace.